Today's actually my birthday, so I didn't.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I didn't.
Happy birthday, bro. How does it work with you guys when the crowd's not vibing with you, man?
I don't know. I've never experienced that.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know. I'm looking at you right now. You kind of look like Ryan Pattinson, like if you played True Detective. You know what I'm talking about? Delco, does he look like that, or is that just me right now? He looks like the actor from Twilight if he played the Mathew McConaughey character in True Detective.
I'll take it. So a little trashier, at least.
Why do you think there's so much self-destructive behavior with musicians?
I would say the ups and downs, the exhaustion. A lot of people are pretty egotistical. When they're let down, it's really hard. There's so many combinations. We have a responsibility to make people feel a certain way. If you can make someone feel something about what you thought of, that is the ultimate goal. If you can save someone's day or life or moment or whatever they're going through, that's the power of it.
Which of your songs do you feel like people most resonate with?
Blue Collar is definitely one of them.
That's a good tune, man.
Thanks, man.
You could tell that one was autobiographical.
Guess I was born a blue-collared man, welder by trade, American made. I make a living with my hands. Never was too good as a kid in school, it wasn't for me. Always aspired for something besides a 4-year degree. Everyone's a victim!
It's the morning. You know I don't do shit before noon, but for this artist, and this artist only, I'll get up.
My man.
Rob Leines, ladies and gentlemen.
What's up, y'all?
As they're clapping at home, I'm sure, man.
Yeah.
Now, I saw Rob here in Austin at the White Horse.
Yeah.
And you fucking rocked the house, man. I was like, dude, that was a hell of a performance.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it's one of our favorite little spots here for sure.
Yeah, so tell the people about yourself, Rob. Where you from?
Man,
How long you been gay for?
Well, as far as I know, my whole life.
Oh, nice.
No, I'm from Cherokee County, Georgia. Moved here in December, undisclosed spot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I've been playing for about 7 years. I was a full-time welder for a long time, and then just did an open mic night, and it kind of snowballed from there. You know, I mean, I played guitar a little bit my whole life, but never really took it seriously. And then one day I was just like, I got a couple songs, and closed my eyes and played this open mic night, and then it just kept happening, and now it's a full-time job.
Wow, really? So you were welding? You were welding out in Georgia?
Well, I moved to California. I was working on the oil rigs, and then I got a job repairing turbine engines. So I actually moved to Los Angeles to be closer to the airport, and then we'd fly, you know, around the country, South America, all that.
And then you left Boeing and the company just fell apart?
Yeah, exactly. Self-destructed as I left.
That's right.
Like, we can't go on. We can't finish what we're doing.
Rob, come back.
Yeah.
No, I must sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But so, I mean, that your blue-collar nature is reflected in your music. You got a song, Blue Collar. I love double wide. Double wide obviously speaks to me, speaks to my heart.
Yeah.
Do you write your own music? Is it?
Yeah, I write all of them, and that's funny. Those two, I mean, those are probably the most genuine, real songs I've written. So it's funny that those are the two that you like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when we were talking about, we won't get into it too much, but like Double Wide is about self-entitlement and getting everything, expecting everything from no hard work, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where that one came from.
Ain't never met a man like me, single while living with double wide dreams. Something out of nothing on my hands still clean. Single while living with double wide dreams. Single while living with double wide dreams.
So you went from open mic to now you tour internationally.
Well, I wouldn't say all that, but I just got back from France. That was my first time there. And, man, it's wild.
Yeah.
It was a great time. But we went there for one festival. And flew back, so hopefully we'll get more stuff there.
What's the timeline here? What's the timeline from you welding, going to open mics to touring the country, performing?
It was definitely a slow thing. Like I would slowly branch out from California within my means, and then now we just circle the country. So we just did the entire West Coast for the new album, and then now we're about to leave next week for the entire East Coast.
Now you have your own band that you play with. You've got your own guys. Or
Yeah.
just, you're kind of like a solo act. How does that come together? Like for me, in the entertainment industry is difficult enough when you're just
100%.
It's a one man game.
Right.
You know, I'm not a team sport.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who comes with me. But for you,
Right.
you know, you got to have a supporting cast. Right?
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Well, they are supportive, and you know, I had to kind of prove that and gain that support, you know, like through hard work and touring and the reaction from the crowds. But I mean, it is a little easier doing the solo thing. It's not like, oh, look at me, I'm Rob Leines, you know. I mean, honestly, I wish I would have had a band name. It would have just been easier, and my last name's hard as shit to pronounce. So.
Yeah, my last name's not my real last name. for that.
Leines.
Yeah, I thought it was Lanes.
That's not the first time I've gotten that.
Yeah, you know, especially coming back from France, right?
Yeah,
They must be
yeah.
like, "Eh, Robbie Lines."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, they did a pretty good job. Maybe it's closer to French than I thought.
Are you French? Is that what you're?
No. I'm Norwegian is the origin of the name.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
A Norwegian from Georgia?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your family made it all the way down.
They made it all the way. Yeah.
They were like, your whole genetics were like, I'm never seeing ice ever a fucking day.
No way. Yeah.
And you went out to Los Angeles.
And they moved to a tropical southern jungle, essentially.
Yeah, right. So you got explain to me. I'm always fascinated when I see people in the music industry, kind of making their way because we hear the stories, and a lot of times we only ever see the two extremes in the music industry, right? We see the people that are playing to the wall.
Yeah.
And even when you're at a bar, you're like, man, that guy's really good, or that band's really good.
For
But,
sure.
You know, there's 4 people and one person's paying attention and they're rocking, and you're like, man, I hope something happens for them.
Yeah.
And then nothing ever happens to 99%. And then, you know, the other ones are like, you know, I'll pay $700 to sit in the top of the arena to hear you, Taylor Swift. So,
right.
You know, and there's really no in between. There's no real middle class in the music industry.
No, man. I mean, you know, I got some buddies that are doing 350 cap stuff, selling it out. And, you know, that's what essentially would be the next goal. You know, I mean, just want to make it an easier job to do, you know. Like, right now we do pretty well. We have certain markets, and, you know, we're able to keep diesel in the van, you know, pay mortgage. But how do you get to that next step, and why do you want to get there? You know, it's not about fame for me or anything like that. It's just I like what I do and just want it to be maybe tour less than 200 plus days a year.
Wow.
You know, stay home. But yeah, I mean, you're right. How do you get there? And it's maybe a little rubbing elbows and brown nosing, and that's not what I do.
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, without saying their names, I got a couple buddies that are in Nashville that I've heard just horror stories from. And like, their big break turned into like a jail cell for them. They got like this. One of them has this overall contract, so we got like a 5-year deal.
Right.
But what he didn't realize is that in the deal, the record label has right of first refusal on any one of his songs, so he can create a song, write all the lyrics, write all the music, and then be like, "That's a cool song. We can't wait to give it to
somebody
pop
else.
star XYZ." And now, you know, the song that becomes like number one in the world, he gets like a little writing credit on. But that was his song all the way through.
Golly, man.
And apparently that's not a uncommon contract in Nashville.
Not there, man. I think, you know, I mean, honestly, it might even get paid more just to have someone else sing it. But I don't know. I'm not super familiar with Nashville. I don't know if I'd really fit in there, but maybe. We play there often, but I got a lot of friends there, and they're doing all right. But it's a grind across the board.
Why do you think you wouldn't fit in there? You're not much for authority or what?
I see what you're getting at here. I've listened to your podcast. I know. Yeah. I just like doing what I want to do, and that's really where it all derived from.
Sure.
Is being yourself, like having a conversation. That's the truest form I can do it, is put it into lyrics and music,
Yeah.
It's not just a conversation, because anyone can talk, anyone can have a face-to-face conversation, and it could not come off, authentic. But for me, that's really why I started writing songs, was because it was the truest form of what I wanted to say. So if someone's going to tell me to do something or go a different way, or maybe you need to sound like this, I'm like, fuck you, that's not happening. That's not why I started doing it. So it is a harder path to do it that way, I would say, and to sound how I want to sound. And because a lot of time I don't even listen to music, because I don't want to sound like something else.
Yeah, I vibe with that, man. I don't listen to any comedy whatsoever, at all. And I know that shocks people a lot.
Your purest form.
But, what you just said resonates with me, because I wasn't that early in my career, and I did comedy, and I wrote things that, in comedy we call it writing for the back of the room,
right.
Which is like, you forget about the people that are there to see you, or just there to see the show even before anybody knows who you are. And you're talking over them to the back, and it's like, hey, bookers, agents, managers, did you like this one?
Right.
Like, oh, this is real edgy, right? And what you realize, man, is like, it's one thing if you bomb and you eat shit.
Yeah.
When you're speaking your truth.
For sure.
It's another thing to bomb and eat shit when you're being a phony, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
you're a phony.
Yeah, and you can't even argue with the internet, because you're like, yeah, I am. But that's kind of a very transformational moment, I think, in kind of any artist's life, man, when you're like, man, fuck it, I just want to do what I want to do, bro.
Right.
And if it doesn't work out, go back to welding.
Totally.
Go back to, I don't know if I can go back to roofing anymore. I'm too fat. There would have to be some really structural roofs.
Roofing's no joke, though.
Yeah, man.
That shit's no joke.
Yeah, I couldn't do it anymore. I'd learn the code or something like that. I'd just be like one of these guys that just, chat GPT's code all day and be like, that'll be $75,000 a month, please.
Yeah.
But you see a lot of people in your world seem to struggle with that concept of like selling out.
For sure.
But then you also see like a lot of people struggle with the concept of paying rent.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of people know how expensive studio time is, and how expensive it is to mix and master your work.
Right.
And the
overhead's crazy.
It's nuts, right?
It's crazy.
I mean, I imagine technology's helped a little bit, right? But it's not like you're out there on GarageBand, man.
No. And this label I'm with now, they're some buddies, and it helped a lot getting through this record, But yeah, like people don't realize how expensive touring actually is.
And now it's more expensive. So people are always like, when'd you get so political? And I'm like, well, when I started flying.
Right.
Because you used to be able to fly out the morning of a show in my business. So in my business, when you start headlining, they make you do off nights and what's called a one hitter.
Right.
So like, I'm doing Omaha on a Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm not getting Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 shows with a guarantee like Marlon Wayans. I get, Thursday if they don't want it, or Sunday if they don't want it.
Right.
So I fly into Omaha, and then you do the show, and then you fly out. Now, the way it used to work was you fly in the morning of the show, do the show, and then there would be like a midnight flight. So it wouldn't be that bad of a deal if I make $1,000,
and then
I can make it work, because the ticket was $250, and I didn't have to pay for a hotel. And all right, see you later. In and out. Now, because flights are always delayed because of shitty welders, probably. You got to get in there. You got to get in the day before, because you can't miss your gig.
Yeah.
Flights are always delayed, so you get in the day before. That's an extra night of a hotel, and there's no midnight flights. So you got to go. So now a one-day trip is turned into a 3-day trip.
Totally.
And if you're on the road 200 days a year, that doubles your expenses.
Yeah.
So if the travel expenses were $15,000, now they're $30,000.
Right.
I'm not charging double for tickets.
And at the end of the year, that's what's off the top, And then paying everybody, paying your team, doing all that stuff. And I mean, honestly, merchandise is where I'm able to really make the money.
For real, you guys make money on merch?
T-shirts, yeah.
Really?
With my dumb face on it. Can you
Nice.
believe that?
Yeah. you got a nice tagline, or what's the tag on there?
No, I don't have one. Yeah.
I'm always shocked with that. Somebody back when I was with Gas Digital was like, "We need to do merch. What's your tagline?" I was like, "Bro, I don't even have punchlines."
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You want me to do like one? I don't know.
Well, I've got one. I just can't say it because I don't want anyone to steal it. It's not
okay.
copyrighted yet.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. Man.
Yeah.
But I mean, merch that kind of makes sense, right? Because all the cool kids are wearing band shirts again. Like it's like
Right.
everybody's wearing trucker hats and either Winston cigarette shirts or
Well, if they want to support you, they're buying a piece of the experience that they had. Is really the way I look at it. You know, and they might not even wear them, or they might wear it next time we come through town, and that might be the only time, or they'll wear it to another concert or whatever. You know, we send each other pictures of all my musician buddies. Oh, I saw your shirt in fucking Omaha.
Oh, that's cool,
you know,
man.
so it does work, and it is helpful. And man, what's coming back big time is vinyl.
it is coming back.
Very
big time, huh?
trendy.
Why is
Yeah.
that?
I don't know.
Because people want to spend $40 on
On a piece of plastic. Yeah.
It looks cool on the wall, man. It is like a cool little
Yeah.
piece.
I've only listened to my new record on vinyl once. I don't even have a vinyl player.
Really?
Yeah.
Good grief, I've lost my mind for the very last time. I don't know what to do. Whoa, this is my zoo, big debut, world-class head case. Whoa, I'm in too deep, the loud well seas, walls goes around me. Pocket full of sin, 7-day binge, a tailspin, world-class head case.
What's your process, man? How do you get into it? Like, what do you...
Shoot.
Let the people know, like, all right, they're working a job right now. They think that they can make a run at it. Did you play covers to begin with?
No.
You did
I've
all original
always
from
done
the,
my own stuff.
from the jump, really.
Yep. We would do 3-hour gigs in LA.
Real asshole. Somebody shows up at the bar to hear a band play their covers, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're getting...
But man, we always got away with it because I think the blue collar and southern vibe of the music in California at the time, it felt like they were hearing a piece of something else that maybe they don't get to hear all the time.
Well, you are different, man, because from song to song, you feel you're like outlaw country, honky tonk, then you're southern rock. Like the whole vibe is at the same time very similar and very unique, man. Like
Well,
everybody can feel a little
That's
bit.
great.
You know?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that's what you don't want to sound like everyone else, you know. But then circling back, there's two kinds of audience members, right? Ones that can think outside of the box and really see something like what you just said to me. Those are the kind of people you want, right? And there's other people. I'm not saying more simple-minded, but kind of go with what is trending and what the industry has maybe made popular.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The gross followers, the big, like there's two categories.
Yeah, we call them women.
Yeah. I don't know what I need to do in that department, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah. The lead singer rock star with the long hair and the blue eyes is struggling, ladies.
It's hard out there.
Feel free to DM. You know, maybe getting a new song. You know.
Yeah. And, you know, the music probably has more of an aggressive edge, which more falls into the male listeners. Rather than, you know, your Zach Bryan's or your love songs or your prettier songs or whatever you have it. I would say it probably, I mean, I'm a metal guy through and through.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. And we'll even do, so like there's two kinds of categories, right? Like I said. And the ones that do like the big, more popular music, they come to the show and they're like, oh, I get it. I love it. But it doesn't translate in streams or that side.
Well, you did, yeah. I would say that. That is interesting because you know when I listened to you on Spotify, you did seem well. The music didn't seem as hard or as edgy as it did live. I mean, you guys tore the roof off that place live.
Well, we go hard.
Yeah, that was awesome.
On stage and off.
Oh, is that right? You guys let it rip a little bit?
Well, after the show, we do our job and then
Oh, you got to,
decompression.
You got to blow a little, blow a little steam.
Yeah, reflection, decompression,
it's
come
part-
down a little bit.
Part of the process. It's all part of the process. Yeah, and in comedy we call it networking.
Yeah, it's
I'm saying? You got to network. You gotta hang at the bar and meet people. You never know who you're gonna meet over the next 14 beers.
That's right.
Yeah. So you're on the tour bus. You get on. You do your thing. You get off. Rockstar lifestyle. What's going on, man?
A little bit, yeah, man. I mean, when we're on tour, it's pretty
Steel
much
Panther.
No, not quite. We're a little more boring than that.
A little more boring?
Yeah. But man, we'll get there, and on a good tour, we usually have Mondays and Tuesdays off, and then we work, Tuesday or Wednesday to Sunday, and then we go to each town, and it's pretty much the same thing over and over again, So
the what was that song by Jackson Brown? That Loadout, that's about it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
That's a good tune, man.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you right now. You kind of look like Ryan Pattinson, like if you played True Detective. You know what I'm talking about? Delco, does he look like that, or is that just me right now? Yeah. He looks like the actor from Twilight if he played the Mathew McConaughey character in True Detective. Yeah. It's pretty, yeah.
I'll take it. So
So
a little trashier at least.
Yeah. Well, him at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my favorite TV show of all time. I think that's the single greatest season of
where
television.
he's smoking and drinking the whole time, right?
Yeah. But you know why he's drinking the whole time though? Because then anything he says is inadmissible in court.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he's forcing these guys like.
Who's got a beer?
Yeah, well, we got there's hard AF wherever you want.
Or hard AF.
These guys are, that shit puts me on my ass 8%. Yeah. Every time I come and do a show here with Drinking Bros, I start off the first half hour I'm good, and then by the second half hour of the show I won't shut the fuck up because I'm lit, I'm fucking hammered.
Man, I'd say dumb shit.
How's that work with you on stage? You drink on stage?
Yeah, I'll drink tequila. I mean, honestly, I don't, because no one likes a drunk front man. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've seen it time and time again.
It's almost cliche.
Yeah. I'll use it as fuel. Take a shot of tequila every other song.
All right.
Play an hour and a half.
Something like that.
I mean, shit.
Your adrenaline's running so high, a shot of tequila's not.
And you're
sweating.
You're sweating so
it's not
much.
gonna do nothing.
Like, dude, but you leave sober. Like,
Yeah.
I've never gotten out. That's not true. I don't anymore leave the stage drunk.
Yeah, I've kind of figured it out. It took me like 11 years to figure it out, but like, I get my first beer an hour before, bring my second beer on stage, and then.
Because you got to be sharp.
Well, that's the thing. If I get 3 or 4 in me and I'm feeling good and loose, I think I have a great set. Get off, watch it back, and be like, oh, this slurring motherfucker was missing his beats. Yeah. Like, I'm up there just having a good time talking shit, but the actual product's pretty.
For sure.
It's pretty loose.
We have it lucky I can cover it up with guitar. You know what I mean? But you guys are out there fucking alone, solo.
Yeah.
I mean, I admire y'all for that, because we can mask some things, but.
Well, it's a different level of narcissistic attention seeking. It's we all started at the open mic too, man. And it's like, man, I think I should be the only one in this room talking for the next 60 minutes.
Right.
Matter of fact, if anybody else talks, I'm going to have you thrown out.
Yeah.
So sit down and shut the fuck up.
No fucking hecklers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it work with you guys when the crowd's not vibing with you, man? Because, I
don't know. I've never experienced that.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know
if I ever run into that. No, we're lucky enough to have people that fucking listen and super supportive, and we're kind of in your face, so it's kind of hard to ignore at times. But and then I'll play by myself and do different rooms to where it's more of a listening room. And those have been really fun too, because everyone just shuts the fuck up and they're there, and I can talk about the songs, joke, like really have a personal thing. And then when we're the power trio, it's just like, bitches, what's up? Yeah.
What's your favorite venue you played in?
Man, there's one close, like down south, Whitewater Amphitheater. We aren't big enough, but we've played there a few times. There's one out in California called Pappy and Harriet's. Shout out. We do. We've been hosting New Year's there. It's out in Joshua Tree.
Oh, cool.
It's fucking awesome. Shoot, and on this last tour, we had our biggest ticket sales were in Portland, random enough, and Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah, the Dells. You ever been to the Dells?
No.
It's wild.
Really?
Yeah.
The Dells?
It's like, the Wisconsin Dells. We play this place, Showboat Saloon. But it's like, have you ever been to Pigeon Forge or Gatlinburg in Tennessee?
These are not real places. Yeah. Are they?
Yeah.
No. I've heard of Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg I've heard of. But dude, I'm originally from Jersey, man. Like, I'm just recently learning that the rest of America exists. I've been a 13 colonies guy for a long time.
That's fair. That's fair. We were fortunate to hit every crevice of this beautiful country.
Yeah, I did the same. Well, I'm kind of joking. I played
now you're all over.
baseball for 5 years, and I saw like every shithole. Pretty much America has that. And I have a theory. I've had a lot of success booking out AA towns. So any place that has like AA baseball,
right?
It's a good comedy town because there's just enough people to sell some tickets, and there's definitely nothing else for them to do.
Oh yeah, it's perfect.
So yeah, now the single A towns you can sell some tickets, but they're in shitholes.
Right.
Like if you
right.
think about where single A baseball is, you want to kind of go to the next, place, But that's kind of where we've had a ton of success. Like, in AAA towns, they're pretty big. So I mean, you're talking. Does Austin have a AAA team? Probably, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Austin's AAA, Nashville's AAA. Yeah, Memphis.
There's so much shit going on.
A lot of shit going
Austin.
on, dude.
I mean, even LA, there's something to do all the time.
Is Sunset still the big thing for guys that are playing music out there? Is it still like a big thing to play the Viper Room or?
No, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, Viper Room. Fuck that. Well, when I was kind of getting started, I'm not sure if it's the same way, but they'll make you buy your tickets first and then you're selling them.
No shit.
Yeah. So I was kind of, I navigated around that. And when I started, there was a good country scene there, which there still is, but more for underground. They have a good following for that kind of stuff. But the Viper Room, what's the other one? There's a few of them. The Rainbow Room. There, you buy the tickets and then you sell them. That's what it used to be.
I got a funny story about the Rainbow Room. The first time I was out in L.A., this has got to be about 8 years ago. I was pitching shows, and I had this manager who was an all-time piece of shit, it turned out. And, and like, he's putting me up in this place in, West Hollywood. We're going to the Standard every day. Come to find out, I was paying for fucking all of it. I just didn't know it yet, dude. Yeah. And
slapped you that bill at the end.
Dude, yeah. Like at the end of the show, I'm like, no money. And he's like, oh, no, you're working off this $8,000 bill. I'm like, the fuck?
Damn.
What, dude?
Wait, what did you?
Yeah. That's like.
I didn't read that in the fine print.
That's like 700 shows.
Yeah. That's horrible, dude.
Dude. So, he saw me coming a mile away. They all saw me coming a mile away. I think they all kind of do, right?
Yeah.
And he's taking me on this like tour of LA, trying to like show off about how much LA he knows.
Yeah.
And takes me to the Rainbow Room. And it was so funny for me because it was like a Wednesday at noon. We were there to eat. And I'm like, this place is empty.
Yeah.
There's one bartender who really probably was something in the 70s.
Yeah.
But now she's just a rail thin,
That's the vibe there, though.
Sack of, and with the most ridiculous, like triple F implants on this 75-pound frame. And there's a dude who walks in, bro, he's wearing fucking spandex zebra pants. With literal football fucking shoulder pads on and this bleach blonde hair. And I'm like, so I'm like over this and I go to start like taking pictures and shit. And his friend comes up and was like, what are you, a fucking tourist? Fucking put your fucking phone away. And I'm looking at this dude like, bro, you can't you can't take me to the zoo and tell me I can't take pictures of
Yeah.
animals, bro. Like, what the fuck you talking about? So then this lady, 75-pound fucking saline over there, starts yelling at me, screaming at me like, you can't like act like you've been here before. You can't be fucking with the celebrities. I'm like, fucking celebrities.
Who the fuck is that guy?
You see this motherfucker?
Yeah.
So the guy, I guess, ended up being, they kicked us out. And the guy ended up being the fucking like bassist for what was Lemmy's band? Motorhead? Motorhead.
No way.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't fucking know the bassist of Motorhead.
Well, Lemmy was the bass player.
Well, whatever.
The
he was.
guitar player.
Guitar player, I guess. And the fucking guy is in football shoulder pads, man, with bleach blonde hair. Like, that motherfucker walked out and was like, oh, boy, I hope nobody looks at me today. Go fuck yourself. So what I did is next door.
Real discreet.
Yeah,
Real discreet.
yeah. Fucking, I go next door. We go to there's like a pizzeria next door, if I remember correctly. Yeah. And they had a Touch Tunes fucking, they had a Touch Tunes jukebox. And I was able to get the app on my phone, and I played like Barbie Girl and Backstreet Boys for the next like 6 hours. I put $100 in the Touch Tones, and I just put it on fucking repeat, man. I don't know how long it took before they turned off the jukebox, but I like to think that it played for the next.
Played for a while.
I would like to think that it was nothing but those 60-year-olds in there going, "How do I turn this off?" Yeah, go fuck yourself. Fucking hit it with your shoulder pads, cocksucker.
Give it the old run and stab.
Yeah, right.
Drive on, a restless Friday feeling running in the marrow of your bones. Drive on, you're feeling sorry for yourself. Carry on.
So you're starting, Georgia. When did you start playing, man?
Man, I was probably in my teens. Probably 15, 16. I really started playing. I started a metal band called Ides of the Abyss.
Nice.
We never played a show.
I heard that with Post Malone, and Post Malone started as a metal singer.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. Delco, can we confirm that?
That guy can do anything, though.
Yeah. He seems like a likable dude.
He seems like a likable dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't want to like him in the beginning, and then like...
Now he's a national treasure.
I fucking like him a lot, yeah.
He's like Dolly Parton, but...
Yeah. Are they going to let you be a lead singer without tattoos on your face? Have you considered that?
I don't know, man. I don't think I can do it.
Yeah. You can't do it down the side? Huh?
Not metal, but like alt-rock.
Alt-rock,
Yeah.
really?
I could see...
Chemical Romance.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I'd fuck with that.
Yeah.
I'd see... I'd fuck with Posty going, when I was a young boy. So when you start writing, do you take inspiration? I mean, you got. I feel like you got a little Allman Brothers in you. You got a little
definitely.
Leonard Skinner in you.
Yeah, I mean, Skinner's a big one, Allman Brothers, but like I said, man, like I'll just drive when we're on tour and won't really listen to anything and just write fucking lyrics. Or I'll get a guitar part and then I'll add something to it that matches that vibe. It's either guitar or vocals first.
Really?
There's no combination, and sometimes you get lucky and you're like, just fucking blurt something out in 30 minutes, and those are the most rewarding ones.
Really?
You know?
So you have a thought, either you think in music and you think in lyrics as well.
Yeah, because I mean, I write all the guitar parts, and then I'll hear the different parts in my head of what the band will do, and then kind of go from there. And once we put it together, we kind of see what works and what doesn't.
Do you write the music for the different instruments as well?
No, but we definitely kind of point it in the right direction. Like, this is kind of what I want on drums or the bass run, because there's only just three of us when we play live, you know. So when I'm writing, also, it's like I try to keep it as a 5-piece in the record, like a 5-piece band. You know, there's organ or something else going on, or a backup singer, because then we can really translate that to a 3-piece, right? So it's like, how do you make these songs where I'm playing 2 guitar parts in there? How do you make that work with just 3 fucking people? You know, so we all kind of have a bigger job as a smaller band. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
Yeah, Nirvana. I heard Dave Grohl talk about that.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but on certain levels, like, it helps because everybody kind of knows their role also, though.
100%.
You know, everybody kind of is like, look, this is where we got to get to, and this is how I get there.
We're a fucking triangle, man. If one corner falls, we all fall.
Why do you think there's so much self-destructive behavior with musicians?
The highs and lows.
Is that what
when
it
it's
is?
high, you're on you're on fire. You know, you play a great show. When it's low, you're coming off of that high last night, and now you're in 1A town playing for 8 people, you know. So it's, I would say, the ups and downs, the exhaustion. A lot of people are pretty egotistical. When they're let down, it's really hard, you know. There's so many combinations.
A lot of rejection in your business?
A lot of rejection.
Yeah, same in mine. And it's
absolutely, I'm sure.
It's a hard thing when you're getting DMs from people all the time, like, bro, I see you, you're blowing up, you're doing great things. And it's like, bro, I got 6 emails today, and they all told me to go fuck myself.
Yeah.
Like, I get 30. Like, I don't even think comedy is my job. Comedy is the reward I get for doing my
100%.
job. And my job is to get told no 75 fucking times.
That 2 hours you're doing what you were out there to do is not the work. Everything prior is the work. The day of driving there, we drive everywhere because we have all of our equipment. So from town to town, we'll switch off, we'll drive, whatever. You get there, you load in, you sit around, you wait, then you play the show. It's every day, day in, day out. Try to get a meal when you can. Try to eat, try to sleep. Go next town. So.
You get some chicks on the road, though. I mean, you take your wins when you can, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're lucky to meet a lot of people, man. Like, and now we got friends fucking all over the country. You know, so literally every region will meet up with buddies and stuff and stay somewhere or do whatever. But yeah, you are lucky enough to meet women.
Where did you know, you look at guys, you look at Prince, you look at Tom Petty, you look at Lemmy, you know, all these guys, and you say, you know, these guys had everything. They made it to the highest level. Yeah. And then still, like, at the end, I'm always kind of, I think Aaron Lewis said it. You know, it's Pagliaccio, the Tears of the Clown type thing. Aaron Lewis said, like, well, like, why did Stain break up? They were bigger than they've ever been. And it was like, well, we sang about how horrible the world was and how much angst we had and how, you know, how nobody loved us. And then everybody loved us. And we made millions of dollars and the world wasn't horrible anymore. And we were like, I don't think anybody wants to hear us sing about, like, how cool it is to be able to pay your mortgage. Like, yeah. You know, so do you feel like in some ways that self-destructive behavior, people think that they need to have some sort of struggle in order to write? Do they think that their art comes from the struggle?
100%, man. Like, I know, I won't say anybody, but this huge artist never got married and would use those breakups to write all these phenomenal albums, you know, and then finally got married later on in his life. And, you know, definitely the struggle of it brings out the purest form. And I think
bless you, Delco.
God bless your everlasting soul, and God bless America. So
goes to France once. Comes back, fucking loves it here.
Well, we'll circle back to that, but yeah, man. I mean, what we do, you pour your fucking soul out for an hour and a half. People want more and more and more and more and more, and I think that can be a lonely and draining place if people don't understand how much of yourself you actually give them. If you are a true artist, and I'm not fucking being hippy-dippy, I'm just being honest. Like, if you give everything you got and everything that you feel to a group of drunk people, that can be soul-sucking. You know,
the internet's way worse than a group of drunk people.
And the internet's fucking horrible.
The internet is fucking brutal. There's a great comedian, Matt McConaughey, who does a great bit about how he's worked for 15 years to perfect his craft. Just to have to post everything on TikTok for teenagers to watch his shit for free and tell them that he's mid. So it's like,
dude, and TikTok is the fucking worst.
Brutal. For an artist,
I can't get behind it.
It's brutal.
I can't, but it can either make or break. And, you know, playing the game, I'm not that good at it. I'm the old school guy that wants to slap the flyer on the telephone post, you know.
Pay somebody to do it, though, because it has to get done.
I know.
So, I mean, I'll break the fourth wall here, folks. When you're DMing me and thinking I'm too good for you, I am. So I can't respond. I pay people to post for me, guys. I'm going to be honest. I sell the drugs. I don't take the drugs.
Yeah.
I pay my editors. I pay them to post because otherwise I will spend all day online. So like, if I'm responding to you or if you're responding to a comment, you caught me while I'm shitting.
Yeah.
So fucking good timing.
Don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah, man, you can't because it's just, and then the frustrating thing about it too, man, is from the business perspective. I don't know how it works in your business, but they're fucking us in ours because these TikTok people come in and they have no idea how the business works.
100%.
And they're getting these contracts that are asinine.
Right.
So a club will be like, hey, I'll offer you a 50-50 door deal. And I'm like, the fuck you will.
Yeah.
It's 80-20 forever with a 90-10 kicker and you're paying $1,000 for my travel. They're like, well, we got a TikTok person that's willing to pay us to use the venue.
Yeah.
So it's like.
And that's the thing too. Like for these opening slots, dude, labels will pay for some TikTok guy to get the show. So they'll pay them. Yeah, man.
Ice
so
Spice.
Guys like me.
Ice Spice.
Yeah. So
Poor Rob's never going to work in the industry. This is the worst hour of his career.
No, it's great. I would. I mean, I didn't. Today's actually my birthday, so I didn't.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, bro.
And when you told me Tuesday, I was like, yeah, sure, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Let's fucking do it. But
fuck, happy birthday, man.
It's a great way to start.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Plus, man, I think the future, I say that we're entering the age of authenticity.
Right.
Be who the fuck you are.
100%.
There's people that I know, very famous people, that watch everything they say, watch everything they post. Right. And I sit here going like, what's the point of being so rich, so famous? You're at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
And you can't even say what you believe in.
Stir it up a little.
Matter of fact, some of the things that you say online, I know for a fact you don't believe in.
Right.
Which makes it hard for me to respect them, frankly.
Oh, 100%.
But I don't think there's any reason not to say what you believe in. If it comes from a place of love, if you're not sitting here doing propaganda and shit like that, this idea that your opinion doesn't matter, like, oh, blah, blah. Dude, find your people.
Right.
There's 8 billion people in this world. You got to find your million.
Yeah.
The
100%.
rest of them can kick rocks.
Who cares?
Yeah, because otherwise, the worst thing any artist can do. I don't care if it's comedy. I don't care if it's music. I don't care if you're making movies. The worst thing you can do is get famous being something that you're not. Because that's a fucking prison.
You're phony. You're phony.
And that's it forever.
Right.
Then you want to step out and actually be yourself as a human being. And now your audience cancels you or comes back at you and was like, oh.
If you can't say what you want to say, especially with your art, then you're not real. It's a phony.
Well, a lot of people just want to be famous, though, right? At the end of the day, that's the drug that TikTok did. It's like, you can get kicked in the nuts for an hour and get 1 billion views.
For sure.
But now if you want to go touring, guess what you got to do on stage?
Yeah.
You got to get kicked in the nuts for an hour. And that's only going to work the first time they see it. Then you got to up it from there. Yeah. Light yourself on fire.
100%.
While you're eating dog shit. And then get kicked on the nuts as a callback.
Absolutely. And then sitting in your room and recording a video and it gets, viral from that is very different than putting on an actual performance.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. Well, there is a lot wrong with it, but the fact that some of these people had so much success just from this platform. Yeah. And then getting into the real world and actually doing it, a lot of people struggled with it instead of really starting from the fucking bottom. Mm-hmm. You just have this overnight shit. You're not ready for that. You can be trained. You can learn to do it. Yeah. And a lot of people, I haven't seen a lot of people do it, and they just come off natural. But some people just fucking crash and burn.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And it's very interesting to see. And I wish that I was able to from starting from nothing. Mm-hmm. I wish I was able to play that game a little better. My old roommate, man, he's a social media strategist, and he's like, dude, you got to get on this thing. It's about to come out called TikTok. And I'm like, well, what is it? He's like, well, it just scrolls videos. And I was like, that's the worst fucking thing for our humankind. Like, we're already losing our attention span. Yeah. And the fact that you just rapid fire videos and you don't even have to do anything, you just have to sit there and look at it. I mean, there's benefits to it.
It's the Ludovico effect.
Right. And I was
in a dystopian world of a Clockwork Orange, that's the torture
that
they give people.
Yeah. You sit there tied to a chair. Mm-hmm. But he was like, you need to get on TikTok. And I was like, man, there ain't no way. And then it came out, and it was a slow build. But imagine being one of those first fucking people on it.
100%.
Just like YouTube, you know.
Yeah, and then you can use it like Jake Paul and all these guys on Vine. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's at the end of the day, bro, it's a tool.
Absolutely.
It's a chainsaw, right? Like, in the wrong hands, a chainsaw is going to be deadly. In the right hands, a chainsaw is going to build, you know,
Absolutely.
entire societies, right? So I look at it as a tool. I go back and forth with it as well. Like, is it evil? Is it necessary evil? I've come around to thinking that it's really good because we can communicate with one another. I think anytime they are trying to eliminate something, we should look into
it a little deeper.
Yeah, like, okay, why do they want to get rid of TikTok? Why do they want to get rid of X? Why is Brazil, you know, canceling it? They don't want us communicating with one another. Well, maybe we should communicate with one another.
For sure.
Maybe we should.
And I'm not
talk to each other.
backtracking by saying, and there is definite pros to it. I just, you know, I just don't know how to use it, frankly.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you, man.
So if
And
anyone wants to put me through a seminar for tiki-talkie,
yeah, well, you will write them a birthday song or something.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely not a sellout though.
we'll sign your forehead.
Double wide dreams. I'm broke as hell, I ain't got no dough. Worked my whole life with nothing to show. I'll fight till the death, I got nothing to lose.
What's the wildest shit's ever happened in one of your shows, man? Anything stand out on top of your head? Do chicks still flash, or is that gone? I remember fucking going to concerts
sometimes.
when I was a kid, and fucking there was fucking mosh pits.
Yeah.
Tits were out everywhere.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Doesn't happen as much. I mean, I've seen some boobies for
We
sure.
used to be a proper country.
Yeah, I mean, man, a lot of fights sometimes. Fights break out at our shows for some reason. I think just because the tension of it. But
And you just keep playing through the chicken wire like
Well,
fucking
it
the blind
depends.
guy in Roadhouse.
there was one show a long time ago where this fight broke out, and I was like, whatever. I see the bouncers coming, but the guy was pushed into my microphone, and it hit my tooth, and I just fucking kicked him. And the bouncer grabbed him and threw him out, just full on fucking. This is Sparta.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking hurt. I hate getting hit in the teeth.
Yeah, who doesn't? Yeah. He hit you and then fucking.
But so he fell. A guy pushed. Yeah, whatever.
So he was actually the victim, but you kicked him?
He was a victim, but he was the closest thing to kick. He hit me right in the tooth, man.
Well, that's his fault. I got. We should have went live. We should just went live with this, Delco. Fuck. Should just went live. Too late now. The the process. I want to go back to that.
Yeah.
The writing process. When do you feel like you've got something? When does the light go off where it's like, man, there's something here? And how long does it take? And I preface this by saying, jokes can take years
Absolutely. Yeah.
to actually craft, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, we have to put them out like immediately now to
Right.
like plant our flag. Again, this kind of goes back to your thing about the social media, where there used to be this big thing called save it. You know, we'd say save it for your special,
Okay.
where you never posted anything
Right,
that you
right, right.
liked about your set. You'd save it for your special,
Totally.
sell it. But now you have to, like, when you even have a decent premise, you got to plant your flag.
Totally.
Be like, I got this one. This
Yeah.
one's mine, guys.
Look on this timestamp.
Yeah.
You fucking see me.
Yeah. And otherwise, the internet will just, accuse you of fucking.
Oh yeah, you stole that dude's joke.
Exactly,
Yeah.
dude. And
Well,
it's-
dude, there's so much similarities between that, and
Really?
we used to be the same way too. It's like I don't want to put that out there, but then again, now everybody will post little clips of their new shit,
Mm-hmm.
and luckily I haven't run into that probably because no one gives a shit
Yeah.
about my shit.
Yeah.
But I will save a little bit, and not give the whole thing. But you really do have to plant your flag immediately, but there is a mutual, like if you have respect and artists have respect for you, we're not out, the real ones aren't out there to fucking steal or copy or mimic anything,
Yeah.
So haven't really run into that too much, but it's definitely a thought.
Is it
Like,
seen as a sign of respect when somebody does a cover of a song, or is it seen as like you're stealing their stuff?
Well, when people started doing covers a few years ago of my stuff, and I'm like, that motherfucker. But then, of course, that's the most genuine, respectful thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
They're not saying it's their song.
No.
They're just like, oh, I really like this song.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cover it and do it that way. I'm like, well, you're a cover band, obviously.
Yeah, get out of here, bro. Pay some royalties.
Yeah.
Delco, there's a video, if you can look it up. If you can, I can send it to you. There's a dude, I think he's at a festival, and he's playing a song about how generic how generic country music has become. And the song, it's kind of like, have you ever heard Hook by Blues Traveler?
It's been a while.
It's one of the greatest songs ever written, because the story behind it goes that John, whatever his name was, John Big Bopper, whatever the fuck, he was having like crazy writer's block.
Uh-huh.
So he wrote a song about how stupid songwriting was.
Right.
Have you ever like read the lyric? And it became this I think Jennifer Aniston was in the music video before she was like,
shit.
yeah, it became this massive thing. Here you go, verse 1. You ready?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I say, as long as I sing with inflection. That makes you feel I'll convey some inner truth or vast reflection. But I've said nothing so far, and I can keep it up for as long as it takes. And it don't matter who you are. If I'm doing my job, it's your resolve that breaks. Because the hook brings you back. I ain't telling you no lie. The hook brings you back. On that you can rely. And it keeps going.
It's great. Dude.
Yeah, dude, it's
fucking great.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
There is something amiss. I am being insincere. In fact, I don't mean any of this. Still, my confession draws you near. To confess the issue, I'll refer to familiar heroes from long ago. No matter how much Peter loved her, what made the pan refuse to grow was the hook that brings you back. I ain't telling you no lie. The hook that brings you back. On that you can't rely.
That's
and then he keeps.
amazing.
So he wrote a song about how, like, bro, I'm so sick of writing this shit.
Yeah.
I write this shit over and over.
I'm not writing to you. I'm telling you right now that fuck you.
It's their biggest song.
Yeah.
Their biggest song is a fuck you to their audience, man. But it's with a harmonica, so
Yeah.
people are like, oh, look at this.
Yeah, look at that thing he's doing. Don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
So I mean, I'm fascinated, man, because you have to do things your own way. But if you get a little bit too far outside the formula, people won't come along with you.
Right.
There's very few people that can like really be almost transcendent artists, and then those are the ones that die poor, and then like 20 years after their death,
Sure.
people are like, have you heard?
Yeah,
Have you heard of Leonard Cohen? Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, it's a forever job. You know, like if you do what you want to do, it's likely, I mean, there's 1 in 1,000, you
Wow.
know, so.
How much of that weighs on you when you think about what you're writing and what you're putting out? Are you thinking legacy?
Yeah, but man, you can't think that way. You just got to always chase the light. We're always running from the dark, chasing the light.
What do you mean by that?
I would say there's always at the light at the end of the tunnel, whatever that may be, but it gives you hope, almost like religion or anything like that. You, with your job, you want to be as successful as you can, right? So you're always maybe chasing that, but what are you chasing it for, and what are the what are the reasoning behind it? You know, do you want fame? Do you want, you know, personally, I just want to sell more tickets and make it a more comfortable living, you know?
So does that affect your art at all?
No.
Do you try to like circle back to what people have liked in the past?
And it might behoove me to see what's trending, but I honestly don't pay any attention to that shit. And maybe I should. I'm not saying that's right or wrong.
Sure.
But I've always done it for really just ultimately having something to say. And when people say this song saved my life, or this song was these lyrics really resonate with me. That's right. There is some vanity. You're doing it for yourself because you had to say that too, but it shifted for me when people started saying that. Like, this is a bigger thing. I have a small platform, but this is a bigger thing than just me and the band.
Yeah.
Like, we have a responsibility to make people feel a certain way, you know? If you can make someone feel something about what you thought of, that is the ultimate goal. If you can save someone's day or life or moment or whatever they're going through, that's the power of it. and bringing everybody in the same room and forgetting about all the bullshit that we're going through.
Yeah.
And just putting everybody there and planning it. And in that moment, that's what we're here to do, is to be together. Fuck. That's a win for me.
Wow.
You know? So,
Which of your songs do you feel like people most resonate with?
Blue Collar is definitely one of them.
That's a good tune, man.
Thanks, man.
You could tell that one was autobiographical.
Yeah.
That one came from the heart for
That one came from the
100%
heart.
certain.
Guess I was born a blue-collared man, welder by trade, American made. I make a living with my hands. Never was too good as a kid in school, it wasn't for me. Always aspired for something besides a 4-year degree.
Well, forever, man, I was just singing about drinking and women because that was so surface. I wasn't super comfortable with really digging deep and saying some real shit, you know? And it was just easy. I'm in a van, I'm drinking women, you know, like that's easy. Anybody can do that.
Yeah.
And that's maybe what some mainstream stuff is.
That's what 90% of
Right.
mainstream stuff is. I mean,
But-
that's the. Did you find that thing, Delco? Yeah. Huh? All right, I gotta send it to you. Go ahead. Continue, please.
No, when I got over that hump, that was the most powerful thing about it. You know, it's like, okay, you know, I grew up in a military family, you know, so
Your dad was really an Army Ranger.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Did that? Was he one of the friendly ones, or was that upbringing?
no,
contentious?
he was a good guy, hard ass, but he was a good dude. And I think that upbringing, you know, kind of made you restrain from really talking about what you're feeling, right? And it's okay for a man to talk about that. I mean,
Yeah, I grew up Irish Catholic, so it was not okay.
Yeah,
for a
so
man
you
to talk
get where I'm
about
coming
that.
from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you shove it down.
Yeah.
And then drink once a month until they all come out, and you end up, you know, fucking needing bail money
it's like
in
a
the morning.
bloodbath of
Yeah, well, just absolute. Yeah, or you just, you know, then eventually you stop drinking, it just metastasizes
Yeah.
as cancer, and you die at 50, and it's fine, whatever.
So really, the whole music thing was just something I had to get over vulnerability. I did it as almost as a dare. My buddy's like, "Oh, those are cool 3 songs. Why don't you go do open mic night?" I'm like, "Fuck, okay, I guess I'll go do it." And then it was a freeing thing, and then you realize that other people are affected by what you say, and it became what it is.
That's brutal. So now you have to bring that buddy on the road anytime you go. Like,
Yeah.
he's the guy. So
No,
it's
he
like,
was just
fuck,
with-
I'm going to France. All right, come on,
Yeah,
Ted.
he was just with us in France.
Was he? Was he really?
Yeah.
Good for you, man. How long does that card? That card never expires, does
No,
it?
unfortunately. He's like, I was there when you were playing songs and we were drinking liquor in your shitty apartment in L.A., so I get to come with you everywhere now.
Does he have a job? Or is he selling merch at least? Or don't tell me he's trying to like get his way into the band
Yeah.
as the triangle player or something.
yeah,
is
yeah,
he?
yeah. No, he'll sell merch. They'll sell merch.
Oh, that's good, man.
So that's the shtick, right? Like they get to come with me, but you got to sell T-shirts.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
just-
you know, at the end
yeah.
of the day,
You got to earn your keep.
come
still.
on, pal.
It's
Yeah, we're not a
free-
communist country yet.
Not
I
a
mean,
free
come on.
ride to a show with 25 people in the audience. Come on.
Come on, brother. Yeah, you better be out there hawking some 60. Or I got a friend of mine that he made it pretty big in comedy. So now his boy gets to come on the road, and it's in his rider that his barber
Yeah.
has to come
Has
on the
to
road
come.
with
That's
him.
great.
And they're paying for his barber.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't cut his hair.
I clearly don't need that.
Yeah, you use a little. You use a little like berries or something like that. You have like a berrier or something, you know, something crazy. You can do like,
no.
I have a hair oiler.
No,
No, nothing like that.
got nothing.
So tell me about France, man. What was that like? Were you out there during the Olympics?
Yeah.
No
we
shit.
were in Lyon and then 2 hours south of that. So we weren't anywhere near Paris,
Yeah.
which is probably for the best because it's hectic. But yeah, we were down there and we took a 2-hour shuttle, flew overnight. I didn't really expect the jet lag that would happen. You know, I'm like, I drive 3 to 8 hours a day. I don't give a shit. But like jumping into the future, it was a real thing.
Yeah, pressurized cabin, man.
Problem was I partied real hard as soon as they have a lot of free beer in France
Is that
at
right?
these festivals. It was an open bar. So
Nice. An open bar.
an open bar, yeah.
What's your go-to? What's your go-to?
I didn't know any of those. They had ciders, they had beers, they had
Les cidres.
Yeah, tequila's hard to find there. It's a big city thing, I guess. But out in the boonies, it was
Tequila is hard to find in France.
They didn't have it at the bar.
Well, that's a fucking market opportunity
Yeah.
if there ever was one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
France.
Tequila company. Sponsor old boy on his
Yeah.
next European leg.
Yeah,
Did he
yeah.
understand English?
That's the funnier thing, right? So we get there, and a lot of people did speak it, but the general population and the attendees of the festival, very minimal. But everyone spoke more English than we did French.
Oh, that's
I was
for
like,
sure.
I just kept saying, "Un, deux, trois, oui, oui, merci beaucoup." And
You English
they're-
pig dogs.
Yeah, they're like, "Fuck this guy." But we go up, right, and I normally say some brief things about the song or joke. Like I'll always do some improv thing. Every show's different, and so they're all just staring, and they're so quiet when we're playing. And it was a true country band first, and then we headlined, and we just came out. We're like, let's fucking play our hardest rock song, 38 Special, right out of the gate, right? And these people were just like, whoa. And I was like, man, I don't think, but fuck it, just keep doing our thing. So we played the whole set, and about halfway through it, I was like, man, because they were so quiet and respectful when we were playing, and then big cheer as soon as we were done. So, which is different from sometimes in the States where people are talking or doing or going to get a drink. They all fucking stood there the whole time. And so in the middle of it, I'm like, man, these people don't understand what I'm saying at all. So then finally I was just like, rock and roll! And then fucking crowd goes, ah! I was like, well, they understood that. Shit.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
I can only imagine a French artist coming out here, going to like New
Yeah.
York, and they can't understand what they're
Yeah.
saying in French, and in the middle of the song, they're like, 9/11! And the crowd's like, yeah, never
What
forget.
the fuck? Never. Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
So you go out in France, man, you come back. Do you ever get sick? You're on the road 200 days a year. Do you ever get sick of playing the same songs over and over?
No, because we'll switch it up and we'll do, I've got about 3 albums, so
Okay.
we'll kind of make the set list as different as we can.
How do you come up with your set list?
Read
How
from
often
read
do
from
you-
a strict list here.
Do you have all the songs? You
We'll
feel it
do
as
it.
you're going, and you're like, hey, play
Yeah.
fucking double wide next, or hey.
With my normal
Yeah,
guys,
drinking song.
Yeah, with that drinking song. Yeah. Yeah, my fucking biggest song is called Drinking Problem.
Hey. You
So
write what
we
you know.
we know what the internet likes. Yeah.
Yeah. That to that point, play this clip, Delco, because again, my buddies in Nashville sent this to me, and I was like, this is fucking hilarious.
First verse starts like this, kinda sounds like you're talking. Then you name drop a town or a truck that you never be caught in, 'cause you're too rich. Then the melody changes here, and you sing about drinking a beer. These are redneck Mad Lib songs keep dropping. You just play the same 4 chords in the same damn order.
Oh, hell
just
yeah.
because. And you talk about girls and life and love, and you brag about getting drunk. Then you sing a little bit lower here, so we know the end of the chorus is coming on. And then you hang on this note. That's how you ride a
Country song. That's fucking great.
Modern day radio country song. You gotta repeat that shit.
That's great.
So there was a video a couple years back that was the same thing, and Delco, if you can find it, I don't want to spend much more time looking for it. If you can find it, it was about
Yeah.
the Chainsmokers, when the Chainsmokers were like blowing up, and there was like this composer
Yeah.
who had like bloodshot eyes, and you could tell it, but just hated
Right.
everything about that this was blowing up, and he was like, they just do the same thing every song.
Yeah.
Every single song, they just they pick a state,
Right.
they pick a time of year,
Uh-huh.
they pick a girl's name, and they just mix it up
Yeah.
so that the internet just shares it. They're like, oh my God, I'm from Nebraska and I know
Right,
an Allison.
right.
And they share it, and the guy's losing his mind. He's like, do you people not know this?
Yeah.
And on a certain level, I get it. But, and again, I resonate with this with comedy because sometimes you feel like a hack because you're like, man, this is similar to XYZ's joke, or this
For
is
sure.
similar, like, But there's only seven stories.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, every joke is going to have similarities to other jokes in either setup or execution or premise.
Totally.
And isn't that, I mean, as funny as that is, there's a whole thing called music theory, right? And isn't that kind of music theory? So if you're not following along,
I don't know any music theory.
None?
None.
whatsoever.
No. I just
You weren't going you were going to community college after your 8-hour shifts and learning.
No, I'm from the streets, dude. The hard knock music world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
fucking
pick it up and play it.
Figure that shit out, bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
So when you look at something like that, what do you
I think it's great, but I think, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, and learning your instrument the best you can is, and I'm learning. Like, I played acoustic, didn't really play much lead, but to make a living doing it, I had to figure out how to wear those hats and just have 3 of us. And then, so it's more based on arrangement and solos and stuff like that.
Sure.
But, I mean, I would say, to answer your question, there's nothing wrong with it. But I think for me personally, having that structure would maybe keep my mental, artistic, whatever, in a box.
Sure.
I don't know if I could really branch out and think outside of the box, me personally. But I mean, if you go to school for songwriting, you are more in that formula-based environment.
It's
right?
successful.
Yeah, it is successful.
There's a lot of people, but it's also, there's a lot of country music specifically now.
Yeah.
Now that country's pretty much gone pop. Not a lot of, like, it's like a lot of, like, rich kids that want to act like they were, like, outlaw kids or something like that, and they're talking about drinking in their Ford, and it's like,
Yeah.
wow, you grew up in Aspen.
I think the authentic shit is coming back, and people are getting more aware of what's real and what's not. And I think Southern rock's coming back.
Yeah,
I think that whole thing is making a huge comeback, and there's a lot of guys that kind of changed the path from that circular wheel, everything's the same. And that stuff still exists, you know.
Yeah.
And there's a demographic for both of those things, but I think people are becoming more aware of what's real and what's not, and wanting to hear something different.
Yeah.
You know. And then there are people that, the small town, they drop their town name, and that's what they want to hear,
Yeah.
and that's fine, you know. But I think people are becoming more aware of the underground or authentic shit.
What's the guy who plays Them Shoes? I love that track, but somebody showed it to me, and Spotify, I think, helps with that, because without Spotify, I'd have never heard of it.
For sure.
You know, like, it would have never got radio play. It's never been on
Totally.
Sirius XM. You know, I don't go to enough coffee shops to hear it.
Right.
So, you know, having that where somebody could be like, check it out. I think my buddy Chase Sherman, give him a shout out. The number one bare knuckle contender, heavyweight contender in the world. He sends me stuff. Swamp Rock, he calls it.
Okay.
And it's you know, he's from, you know, like that Louisiana, Alabama area over there, and
Yeah.
you know, and he sends me the greatest shit, and it's similar to your stuff. It's
Right.
great lyrics, it's real stuff.
Right.
It's that rock and roll that it hasn't been around. It feel like,
Yeah.
or it has been around, and I just haven't been aware of it.
Right.
You know,
there's a whole scene down there. There's some great people that you'll never hear unless you catch one of their songs on Spotify I'm bad about staying in touch with what's actually going on, because you get so focused on and so busy with what you're doing, but it is good to just take a step back and try to figure out and find new shit.
So if someone's listening to this, man, and they wanted to check out your music, where should they start? What do you think is the best 2 songs that'll get them understanding exactly who you are?
Well, I'm probably proud of this new record the best. I would start with the Head Case record, and then Blood, Sweat, and Beers from there. But, man, Double Wide, we've got fast stuff, we've got swamp rock stuff. I would just start with the Head Case record, really, on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to that stuff. YouTube.
Yeah, well,
Follow me on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's absolutely boring.
I'll try to put. What we'll have to do is we'll put links in the description, Rob. We'll put links in the description so everybody can check it out. I wish the internet was way cooler. Maybe I'll put out a non-YouTube version of this where the music's actually in it, so that you know people can hear what we're talking about the whole time.
I can send you the Dropbox too. And
Okay, yeah.
Really, essentially, there's a digital barcode on that when you go through a third party to put the music out there. So it calculates every time the song is played, whether it be on a social media site or YouTube or Spotify or any of those things. It generates that and compiles it, and then you get a little check or a big check or whatever.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, so I mean, we do get paid for those streams, and
Sick.
they do help, you know.
That's what's up, man.
But it's a conglomerate of, like, let's say you use an Instagram story.
Yeah.
And someone plays that song. That's one. Boom. It's all barcode, but the original master copies don't have that on there.
Next time you go to France,
as far as I know, I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
I know you're not in the covers, but next time you go to France, you got to come out. And the very first thing out of your mouth has to be, through the gates of hell, as we make our way to heaven, through the Nazi lines.
We've been walking on to Hell's Bells, and so it was this country. It was a rodeo, huge rodeo, and I was like, "Do you have Hell's Bells?" He's like, "Hell's Bells." I'm like, "AC/DC, Akadaka." That's, you know, in Australia they call them Akadaka.
I didn't know that, right?
Yeah. And I've had confirmed by at least 5 Australian people, but
While they eat their Vegemite.
yeah, but we walk on, you know, and it's this beautiful country set, you know, before us, and we walk on to Hell's Bells, and people are like, "What the fuck's about to happen?" I could see it in their face, they're looking around. It was tight. It was tight.
What do you got upcoming, man? What shows do you have upcoming so that people can come see you and let them know where they can find you?
Yeah, man, we leave for East Coast tour. You can go to robleines.com. It's all on there. We're doing the entire East Coast from the Midwest all the way up to Massachusetts, down to Florida, cutting across the southern states. So we'll be out on the road for the next month into mid to late October. So,
Guys, you got to see him live. He's unbelievable live. Check him out.
Thanks, brother.
Check out his new album. What the new album's called?
Head Case.
New album, Head Case. Check it out on Spotify. He gets 1 cent for every 100 plays, so be sure to send it to everybody you know. And,
0.7 cents.
It's 0.7.
I don't know the number.
Yeah. Check out telyrx.com. That's TELYRX.com. Use code S&T for 25% off of your first order. Listen, guys, you want Ozempic? We all know you want Ozempic. Get it for 25% off. Go to telyrx.com. And if you got some bumps and some little red things that you don't want to look a doctor eye to eye to see, you don't have to anymore. Thanks to telehealth, you can just type in what your symptoms are at telyrx.com. And a doctor will prescribe you exactly what you need, and then you don't have to go to the pharmacist and have them look at you judgingly to say, how many times are you going to have dick bumps? This gets sent directly to your house, directly. So no doctor, no pharmacist, just you and your drugs directly to your house. That's telyrx.com, TELYRX.com. Use code S&T. Thanks, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all that fucking stuff. Gerard versus Evil. We'll be back in Florida next week. Peace.
Everyone's a